police must arrest criminals. Whether a criminal is a South African or is not a South African must be arrested. You cannot loot shops, whether they are owned by foreign nationals or whether they are owned by South Africans. Looting is breaking the law.
South Africans are raised, my sister. You are South African, you know you are brothers and you know you are sisters. You are too lazy. This is true. Lazy, you know what I'm saying. You are too lazy. You don't want to work. I don't know what type of you want anything for Mahara, everything for free. You just need free money. As you now, you are busy chasing people out of here, but you don't want to work. You are still staying inside your house, but you want money. Are you okay?
That's why we are here. Get your boots off the people's necks. It is about time we get to a point of understanding that our leadership, yes, we respect because we are Africans, we know what that is.
It's not right, especially what happened. No, I don't like it.
You don't like it?
And then after, no, I don't like it.
Why?
And then after that,
Why don't you like the marches?
the people must go. And then after that, we have children from the foreigners. And then after that, the foreigners must go. Who's going to support the child? I can't support the child alone. So the foreigners must go. So it's better. Take the foreigners, take the child with the foreigner, with him.
South Africans are raised, my sister. You are South African, you know you are brothers and you know you are sisters. You are too lazy. This is true. Lazy, you know what I'm saying. You are too lazy. You don't want to work. I don't know what type of you want anything for Mahara, everything for free. You just need free money. As you now, you are busy chasing people out of here, but you don't want to work. You are still staying inside your house, but you want money. Are you okay? Are you okay? You are crazy. You must be stupid. I'm telling you, I'm leaving. I'm not going to come again. But if you want to be successful in your life, you have to think and you have to be work as a slave. Don't just sit inside the house and be busy chasing someone. Still, you're going to be the same. You're going to chase someone who's going to go. You are killing your own industry. You are killing your own economy because someone is going and the factory is killed. That factory was supposed to pay the tax.
Police must arrest criminals. Whether a criminal is a South African or is not a South African must be arrested. You cannot loot shops, whether they are owned by foreign nationals or whether they are owned by South Africans. Looting is breaking the law. They must be arrested. Hence, even those who are attacking foreign nationals, when you break the law, you must be arrested. That is why we are making a call to the people of KwaZulu-Natal and the South Africans that they must not take the law into their hands. There is no country wherein ordinary citizens will take the law into their hands. We must deal with the element of criminality, and we must reject criminality element in our society. When you see some of the South Africans committing crime, being South African, you must reject that. You must isolate them. You must report them to the police. Because when they commit crime, crime is not tolerated in our province.
Munangagwa, get your boots off the people's necks. That's why we are here. Get your boots off the people's necks. It is about time we get to a point of understanding that our leadership, yes, we respect because we are Africans, we know what that is. But it's painful to be standing here as an African child with a black skin, asking a black president to allow the black people that he's leading to be free. 50 years after we have been doing that as South Africans. And I want to tell Zimbabweans, I'm saying this is a just fight. You guys you don't have to be afraid of it. What you are doing is going to be preserved by history, but not only that. And I want to remind you, yes, it's not going to be easy. Because we are also taking cognizance and also being very clear of understanding people in Zimbabwe. They do want too much. But if they are treated the way they are as children, who wants to see or be seen being whipped like a child on the street because they just want to express themselves? Because those people are not going there to push the government out. They were saying, this is how we feel about you. And if you're a true leader, you are able to take the negativity that you're doing. That is if you want to change. You want to be that age and you still want to control people that do not have a right. It is also about time that Zimbabweans are not leaving their country because they are oppressed, but they are living there to explore other places, not because they are treated the way that they're being treated. President, it is a shame, and I'm saying this with disgust, and it's also embarrassing do get your boots off the people's neck. We are here to support. We have pledged our support with March and March, and we stand with them, not because we just love them, but because they took on a difficult fight. Go back home, unite, go there in numbers. They will not destroy all of you, but if you're pushing away from each other, that's when you're going to be having a problem, because what you are doing is also going to be known by Africa. One last one. You are the first country that, after the exodus of the issues we are dealing with in South Africa, that took this and say, you know what, we can bring change in our space, and for that we salute you.
What is out there, and it doesn't start now, were even condemned by the United Nations when it was projected that people have been beaten up in South Africa. And that they have been chased away and all of that, and some people died. Remember, at some point you guys reported that a Mozambican national died somewhere in the Eastern Cape or Western Cape, somewhere there. And then that in South Africa we are killing foreigners of African descent, and there's war. And these people who are marching, when they started, that's how they caught the attention.
Okay.
Mobilizing and beating up people. It changed over time.
Okay.
When generally churches and broader civil society condemned this vigilantism.
Okay.
And the language and the approach these marchers were taking then began to change. Now, there's no one in a state like ours where the rule of law runs supreme can actually take the law into their own hands and do what was projected to be coming. So the 30th of June was projected as a cleansing of Africans in our country by all means necessary, including violence,
Africans?
including killing. We started seeing people marching with knobkiris and all of that. And then we as the ANC have been very consistent. We say that this thing that is being done by these people, it must not be celebrated. It must be condemned and discouraged. And the law must intervene. Because we knew that from the days of apartheid, this thing of ethnic wars and tribal wars, what they did in the mines, when our people were made to speak Fanagaloko, Sutus fighting with the Xhosas, and all of that, and when people came to Johannesburg to work in the mines, and all of that, because those among them were captured for cheap labor, and majority of our people were basically isolated from these mines, and foreigners were being protected and being prepared and armed to attack some of the South Africans in these mines. It has evolved over time. And South Africa is not only a signatory, but we have fought a brutal system of apartheid and defeated it, which is a system of hatred and all of that. And then we kept on cautioning, don't call our African brothers amakwirikwiri. Yumasikela speaks to us from the grave. Yekela ukubiza abanye abantu ngakuthi ngamakirimani nabo ngabantu. Nothing wrong raising your ire about the fact that illegal immigration have taken over Hillbrow. Majority of the people who are there and the buildings around us here and all of that in Johannesburg belong to some people we don't know. And majority of people who occupy those buildings are undocumented. The state must intervene and clean out. And that is what has been undertaken by an interministerial committee to deal with these particular issues. So we have never been a nation that will embrace things like xenophobia. because we come from a history of racism. Xenophobia is a form of hatred, against another human being. Singabantu bobuntu, which is the truth. What a single provocateur does in the streets of Johannesburg does not represent millions of South Africans in our country.
Okay.
By beating up people, chasing people, becoming an agent provocateur, and doing all sorts of things. And these are the things that we have condemned. And we are very clear that there are other countries in the African continent who were quick to rush that this deserves attention and South Africa must be isolated and all of that. Businesses of South Africa and the South Africans working in the African continent. There are people who are naive who think that South Africa does not do business with the rest of the continent, and there are no South Africans who are working in the African continent. That's not naivety. That's absolute, disaster for any individual, because you have closed yourself from the rest of the continent by thinking that this country of ours can exist outside Africa when we are in Africa ourselves. So the government of South Africa have undertaken a mission to brief different countries, and others we know have gone as far as targeting Al-Amin summit of the African Union to make a case against South Africa. And that is why, as the ANC, we have worked on this immigration compact that seeks to intervene in law, but at the same time to define this immigration matter which we place before you, and we say it requires our discussion and enrichment as to what then makes this. It's not only a South African phenomenon, it's global, it's African. People come here to South Africa for a reason, in their numbers, because they run away from their countries. Others genuinely from political conflict, which they are covered by Geneva Convention in terms of how you deal with refugees and all of that. But others are coming here because they are looking for greener pastures. And unfortunately, they are doing that in an unlawful manner because of our porous borders. They come through and then they settle in our country. And whenever they do things, including criminality, we can't find them.